forfeiting the money, not me. So I ain't got to return the money, man. I said, yeah, but I'm calling the FBI, nigga, and I'm going to tell them I'm recording this phone call. So I made him think that I had recorded the phone conversation, which is illegal. So now I didn't record the phone conversation. I did not contact the FBI.
So you're trolling?
Yeah, I was trolling.
But when you're trolling them to the extent that you are, I mean, because you laid them all the way out. And there's a different world for the people that don't know. You know, if I talk about Boosie, I mean, I criticize Boosie all the time, and I criticize Megan Thee Stallion. It's very different.
Yeah.
Because the women play a certain way, the men play a certain way. And what I found is, like, Rick Ross just blocked us because we posted his baby mom talking shit. But yeah,
that you hit below the belt, you go to post nigga baby mama, because she knows some secrets don't nobody know.
Right, but we're posting the back and forth with all the rappers. It's the baby mom. It's funny.
Yeah, it is, but not to him. Yeah, because she's saying some shit that we laughing at. He ain't laughing at.
Well, maybe he went to Wingstop. Either way, we're fine. Okay, so when you go there with the rappers, and you would have still went to that show if Boosie's cousin, family, and other was still coming.
Yeah. Well, what you do is you hire security, because the people that want to buy the tickets, man, don't know one monkey stop no show unless the promoter's scary. So my thing is, homie, unless you scared, and his thing is, man, I live here, so I understand my nigga, but I ain't returning no money.
Right.
Because I'm willing to still come do the show, but provide extra security. One thing I know about niggas, they respect a uniform and badge and lights that come on and go whoop, whoop. They respect that. You can put a car there and not have a cop in there. They respect the fact that it's a police car there. So,
but if they're willing to ride through the hood and go kill each other, why would they be afraid of the police?
But that's without the police presence. They don't shoot and mow.
That's what I'm saying, but why be afraid of the police if you're not afraid of anybody else? Because they can shoot back and get away with it?
Well, most niggas ain't afraid of the police. They're afraid of the power of the police. The power. Because most people that hurt people, it's all about power. Mm-hmm. You don't try to hurt people that you perceive to have either equal or more power to you. You go pick on people who you think is powerless than you. So that's why I recommend, man, calling the police, because you see which gangsters get in line. And from what I seen, most rappers respect me for the simple fact, oh man, bitch ass nigga, go call the police. I'm a law-abiding citizen. Why wouldn't I? I'm not a gangster. I'm not a street guy. Why would I continue to play by the rules that guarantees you lose?
But the rules, the unwritten rules or the written rules, people say Jay Prince runs Texas, you live in Texas.
And I say he don't.
And you tell him to suck your dick.
Yeah, I say he don't.
But you don't even fear, even within Texas, you're not worried about something happening.
Who want to kill a nigga talking?
Right.
Who want to bring all this heat to you for a nigga that's talking online? And if you're a street guy, who listening to a guy that's talking online?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And he's supposed to be the police. Who listening to that? Mm-hmm. Well, only people outside of Texas think Jay Prince run Texas. The people in Houston don't think that.
Wack 100 was here last week. He don't think so either.
Well, only the people who believe the myth that Suge Knight was as bad as he was. And Suge Knight wasn't bad.
So is Jay Prince just marketing?
Jay Prince is a music mogul. Nothing else. Mm-hmm. He's a music mogul. He's in the entertainment music industry. He ain't no mafia boss. Mm-hmm. Mob ties is not a real mob. But people believe it is. Mm-hmm. People believe that, but this is how hip hop done tricked us.
Yeah, I've never subscribed to it. I mean, I talk my shit and say what I think, and I mean, I haven't had anybody outright threaten me, and I mean, I tell them all the time, I'm a civilian, I call the police. I don't subscribe to the
let me just say this. Now, Jay Prince and them have reached out to some comedy venues. They reached out to Tommy T's and tried to, hey, woo, but man, ain't nobody listening to that.
To cancel you or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When I went to the Houston, when I sold out at Houston House of Blues, I had some issues with the, they wouldn't let me bring my weapons in, so I had some issues. Mm-hmm. But don't know one person run Texas, but the sheriff of each county. So once I got into politics, and I understand the dynamics of the executive branches, your local government, man, I realized the sheriff is a bad motherfucker. Mm-hmm. Your county judge is a bad motherfucker.
The district attorney.
The district attorney is a bad motherfucker. Everybody else just talking and playing bad. So once I understand that, I stand on this side of the law with so much confidence and security as a law-abiding citizen compared to when I stood over that side with the criminal mind and criminal intent. But I thought I was bad over there. Man, I'm much better over here with the intentions on doing right. Right? So I wake up with the intention on doing right and not harming nobody. So in my mind, how can what I say bring energy that will cause to hurt me when they really hurt people? Them and they homeboys really hurt people, and they lyrics promoting hurting people. So what energy goes back to them?
So how do you make sense out of somebody like a Meek Mill who is a dream chaser in the streets, has his music, but then fighting for freedom with the Reform Act over with Jay-Z and Mike Rubin, and then dancing at the Mike Rubin all-white parties? Like, how do you make sense out of all that?
I don't, because he seems conflicted. I watched them give support to guys like, what is it, WWMY Melly, whatever they got.
YMW Melly.
So I watched Meek and them give support to him. But
as a rapper who killed his friend or killed
someone. But I watched them talk prison reform. I watched them high-five the young bulls like Pooh Shiesty and them who brag about, but at the same time talk prison reform.
Why do you think the conflict exists?
Because prison reform makes a lot of money for a lot of companies and organizations and nonprofits. And Meek, he in with that. You know, the NFL jumped in with the prison reform. The Campaign Fair Sentencing and Youth partnered with them with the juvenile reform and the prison reform. So it's a lot of money in helping us reform, but you don't see the help to reform. It'd be all talk or on Capitol Hill, but you don't see Meek with the grassroots organizations that's standing on the front lines in a community that's helping to aid these guys when they re-enter back into society. You don't see Meek Mills going back and doing juvenile justice or political justice in the form of reaching back to some of his old friends who's been locked up since they were 15, 16. So I got a friend by the name of Charleston Houston. We call him OG Baby Cash. Because of the culture, because of the environment, at 15 years old, he had 8 murders. So he's been in prison from 1992 at the age of 15 years old to now, over 30-something years, and he tied. So what happens to guys like him when they really make the change, they really find redemption, they really have remorse, and they won't do it again, but the consequences don't change. He 30-something years on a 40-year sentence, 50-year sentence. So that's where reform lies. It's guys like him who they once used Tookie, right? Remember before they executed Tookie, they used him for the riots to come speak to the youth. That's where reform comes from.
I reached out to Meek, Kim Kardashian, and Van Jones, who's a part of the whole reform movement, to help me get a friend out of prison. They didn't. I was able to go to my congresswoman who negotiated with the governor to get him out of prison. So I started looking at
reform.
I've been to the Michael Rubin parties.
There you go.
You know, I see all the rappers show up for Michael Rubin and support him, but they don't show up at the BET Awards or my show or anything. You know, so I do see
That's my beef with them.
No.
That's my beef.
I share the same beef, so I get it. And I wonder, is Meek's thing this need to be validated by white people, or is it a part of that business?
Well, you got to understand, who went and got him out of prison? Robert Kraft. He went and got a helicopter and got him out. So how does that happen? Jay-Z gets put over the NFL Super Bowl performances. They go get Meek out. Jay-Z's been petitioning for Meek. Why they quit petitioning? They had the whole hip-hop industry saying, free Meek, free. Why we stop? There are other people who deserve the same opportunity.
And they don't have half the resources.
And he got the pardon. He got a whole pardon. He got his gun rights back. He got his rights restored. So why we can't keep doing it? Come on, Meek. Why we can't keep doing it? So we got guys, because of our culture, hurt people. We join gangs that hurt kids. America is responsible for the gang problem that has gone on in America for the last 50 years. America is responsible for at least 25 years of that 50 years because they propagated this shit to us. Not only, well, let me explain that. There's no reason that the Los Angeles Dodgers should have a red hat. There's no reason why Michael Jordan, they started propagating red and blue colors to us.
With the hat.
With the hats, the shoes, everything.
But you're not talking the Trump hat. Because the Trump hat, that you wore that hat.
I ain't seen, you can't identify Crip and Blood with the Trump hat. I already,
No, but Make America Great Again, you can attribute that with.
Well, let me just say this.
It's attributed with a lot of things.
I remember a time America was great. That's all I'm going to say. I remember during the 80s, boy, we can play outside and you never heard a drive-by shooting out south. I remember a time that crack didn't exist.
So you agree with the theory that we should make America great again?
Yes.
But did you believe that Trump was going to be the one to do it?
Yes, I did.
Did you?
I truly believe that. America seemed happy. America seemed, even black people seemed happy when Trump was in office compared to now and compared to before. Black people seem vibrant. The opportunity zones that Trump put into place, I think more black people started businesses during his term and time in office. PPP loans, whatever you're accredited to, but never before in history have black people had access to bank money like that.
Nor did we know what to do with it when we got it.
We didn't, but we didn't even have we finally got access.
Yes.
He made that possible. And now this president is saying, we gonna come back and get y'all for that money y'all got away with.
I mean, the PPP loan money was supposed to help you keep your business afloat, not be in line at Gucci and Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills was lit.
Yeah, and niggas started businesses with the money, playing like they had businesses.
Right.
It's no different than what the banks and the CEO companies been doing on the back end in Wall Street. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the poor people finally got a chance to cheat the system. They've been doing it forever.
But shouldn't we have taken that opportunity?
We should have.
Here's where I'll be critical of the culture. We should have took that opportunity. I took a $150,000 loan at that time and literally went from a 6-figure business to a 7-figure business. So I mean, I know that some of us knew what to do with it. Yeah. A lot of us didn't. Who do we blame for that?
Us. So that's why I say our form of reparations shouldn't be in a monetary form. Because we see what we're gonna do with it. Even if they was to give us an open line of credit, what we're gonna go do with the credit?
Draw down on it and waste it all?
Shit, you already know. So it should be some form of land, some seeds, a tractor or something. Yeah, but it shouldn't be in a monetary form. But even though we didn't know what to do, that president, never before in history have we had this opportunity. You don't think he told the banks to say, man, come on now, we'll insure that money?
But when we talk about racism and you go back to the Clintons and you look at the super predator, he was the president before he was president to say that the Central Park Five should be put to death when we know they didn't kill nobody.
And I'm just playing devil's advocate. In his defense, they really believe they done that.
Who did?
Donald Trump. And so we just found out they didn't do it. But when he made that statement, they really believe, everybody really believed, other than the people who knew that those 5 boys had done that. And it was a horrific rape. Right. It was a horrific crime. So if you thought this, yeah, they should be that.
But when you think about the history of black people in America, you have to think about Emmett Till. Well, people that thought Emmett Till did something.
But let's go back to the movie. They coerced those kids into even saying that, yeah, we did. So, but Trump and the rest of the world don't know this. They just going off what's been presented to them. So of course, if this is presented to you like the media do most of us, we're gonna say that's a horrible person. Yeah, we do that to our own when we see some shit on the news.
But when you wore the hat, did you work for Trump?
Well, this what happened, right? I was heavily involved with the local Republican Party, the Tarrant County GOP Republican Party in Texas, right? So the Tarrant County GOP Republican Party during that time was the largest voting Republican base in the country. So President Trump came through there a couple times. And so there's a lady by the name of Mona Bailey. So you don't get elected in Fort Worth without Mona's nod of approval.
She's a black woman?
A white woman.
White woman. Okay.
Very powerful white woman, rich white woman. So I got adopted by the Terrence Starr Republican Women's Club. This is a very affluent elite club. So they would meet every Tuesdays and some Thursdays at the country club, the golf club. So they adopted me. So they would donate to my organization. So I got selected to be the campaign manager for a guy by the name of Albert McDaniels, who was running against Senator Nicole Collier. So I was his campaign manager. So after being his campaign manager, they had a black guy by the name of R.W. Bray, they was nominating me to be the director of public engagement of the African American community for the RPT. So I'm graduating. So I went from local to the Republican Party of Texas. So this is in Austin. So during that time,
were you a Republican at the time?
Yeah, I'm a Republican.
Are you a Republican now?
Yeah. I'm a hood Republican, but I'm a conservative nigga who just so happened to vote Republican. I'm a conservative nigga with conservative principles and values who just so happen to vote Republican because they uphold conservative values.
Wait, what is a conservative nigga? Can you explain that, please?
He's an oxymoron. You want me to say this on camera?
Absolutely.
Well, I'm quid pro politics.
Okay.
Right? So I live in a red state in a red county. Right? All the judges, all the powers to be is Republican. Why would I go join the losing team? Right? So when I went to community college, I went and gathered all the historical information, going to government classes, U.S. history, American history. And so I looked at the two. And I said, okay, well, the Republicans started out fighting with niggas. The Democrats created the Ku Klux Klan. The Republicans authored, sponsored, and almost passed all civil rights legislation for black people in this country. It's been the Democrats opposing, even to this day. So there was a switch. Right, the Southern strategy during Nixon's era. Well, they really didn't switch. The platforms and the methods changed. The Democrats created entitlement programs to bait us in for more votes. Dr. King was peddling with the Republicans, right? Kennedy and them. So the Democrats got smarter. That's where LBJ come in and says, I'm gonna have these voting Democrat for the next 400 years. So I stopped right there. What? So once you start looking into it, when I look at the Republican platform, the conservative principles is what mama and them raised us with. God, family. No, you don't only live once. You make right choices and decisions. So I go with these principles. The Democrats is liberals. You're free to do whatever. Be who you, no. So I go with this platform.
But shouldn't people be able to be who they want to be?
Yeah, that's why I'm a conservative nigga voting Republican. But I get a lot of backlash. You're right. They should. So that's why I do this. So I became a rock star in this town as a black Republican with gold teeth. So I started having some of the whitest women come to the hood, man, and bring all kind of shit. And them dope dealing niggas be standing out there, man, why you got these white women? Them the police. So I got the hood shook up with old white Republican women. So I got nominated to be a part of the RPT. I get a phone call. This is before President Trump becomes president. I get a phone call saying, hey, Charleston, would you like to campaign with Donald Trump to 3 key battleground states? I said, hell yeah, I would. They said, okay, we're gonna call you back at 3 o'clock. We're gonna have your information. So man, I'm excited, but I'm financially struggling at the time. So they told me that they was gonna give me, they're gonna give me a stipends, a food stipends, and pay for the travel. So I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna leave broke and come back broke? Man, that shit don't sound right. So when they called back to book the flight, to get information, my response was, nah, man, fuck Trump. Man, I don't like him that much. Man, I ain't gonna get no money. So they repeated to me again that I'll get a stipend. And so, I didn't campaign with him.
But you believed in him?
Yeah, I believed in him.
Do you still believe in him?
No. It's hard to believe in him because he's under attack. And at this point, because the attack is so personal, I think there's a vendetta.
Against Trump?
No, I think he would have a vendetta.
Against the country?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think he would.
Did you think his performance was presidential?
No. I feel like that day, we fucked up. Yeah, the day of the election, I felt, man, we done fucked up and let this motherfucker be president, man. Because he struggled. And I believe he struggled because I don't think he believed he was gonna win. His reaction, his response didn't say that he thought he was gonna win.
Why do you think so many I love the fact that he's sharing he's Republican, he's standing on that, he believes in
Yeah, and
what
I think we
Republicans believe in.
fucked up at first, but then as he began to get into the seat of being a president, that first year was like, man, we done fucked up. But I began to see, I began to see something different.
But why do you think there's so many young black people right now that want to see Trump in office again?
So this what drew. So remember, up until Trump, I went Hillary over Obama. So I didn't go John McCain and none of that. But I did vote for Bush.
Is it because even then,